Welcome at today's Circus Talk. It's the last talk of the week. We've had wonderful talks so far. We are organizing these talks to put circus and juggling in a broader perspective. We want to create a space where we can learn from each other, where you can exchange ideas and get inspired. So the topic of today is social circus, and we will dive into how circus can be used as a tool for social change and how circus brings people together across backgrounds and creativity and movement to build confidence, resilience and community. And today we have two wonderful speakers, Marjolein Wachter and Steven de Zangere. And they have been working together for quite some time. They're very experienced in social circus, and they are also teaching the course for circus teachers. And actually I would like to ask how the two of you have met. So I'll give the mic to you.
Thank you, Remke. So, my name is Marjolein. We met at Circus Elleboog, I think it's in 2012. Circus Elleboog is a youth circus, was a youth circus in the Netherlands. And there we were connected because I was teaching a social circus course to homeless people, and Steven was introducing about circus transformation. And circus transformation is a program for social circus teachers initiated by Caravan. Are you familiar with Caravan? Yes, great. Okay.
Yeah, we developed together a kind of handout for trainers of circus trainers to really make them as aware as possible of the social circus side, because there's a lot of awareness that we need in order to organize social circus in such a way that it is actually empowering and not disempowering. Maybe later we will go on to that. Now the Caravan network, it's a European network that is, I think, the biggest network in Europe, at least, for the development of social circus and the training for social circus trainers. It has its 9th edition this year, and I will be present in Ljubljana next month to help out this first week. So it's alive and kicking, and it's definitely something the whole social circus scene is definitely developing big time in Europe and elsewhere.
So since 2014 or 15 together, we've been teaching the social circus training for trainers course in the Netherlands and in Belgium. So we've been working together for over 10 years. But that's about us. We would like you to get to know each other a little bit better. And so I would like to invite you all to come here to the stage, please. Okay, so what we are going to do is we're going to walk around a little bit. And then when I am saying hand, you put up your hand. When I'm saying pair, you pair up with somebody. So we pair up. And then I say share, and I will give you subjects to share about for a few minutes. So you can get to know someone here in the group a little bit better. Are you guys ready? Okay, so walk around, mingle, hello, nice to see you again. Okay, so hands, good. Pair, find somebody. Yes, did everybody pair up? Okay, share, and the share is about, not everybody found us somebody, yeah? Share about how you come to this meeting. Did you sleep well? What kind of expectations do you have? How do you come to this meeting? You have like 1 or 2 minutes to share, yes. We would like you to walk around again, mingle, mingle, mingle. And put up your hand. And pair. Yes, if you found somebody. Now you can share on the subject of what is social circus for you? What is social circus for you, to you? So, one more time, try to mingle, walk around in this space. Okay, hands, pair, and share about what would you like to know more or talk more about on the issue of social circus, or what would you like to know more concerning social circus? Okay, I want to ask you to make a circle so we can all see each other. So, thank you so much for sharing together. We would like to know what kind of subjects came out from this conversation. So, probably there will be a lot, but we will write some down. So, I asked you what is your expectation of social circus? What kind of questions do you have? Is there anybody that wants to share?
I heard some people saying that they are curious about knowing what is and how can we use social circus.
Social circus is a way to create a common language for accommodating a safe space.
Anybody has a question?
Yes. We talked about that when we work with kids or young people, it's usually social because we do inclusion, and so is there a difference to if you call it social circus, or is there usually a children or youth circus already a social circus?
I heard a wish of to know a bit more each other and who's working where in a field of a social circus to kind of get these kind of a notes that there is somebody doing something, and if we do the same thing, maybe to make a connection, you know, this kind of like a networking a bit.
For me, there's also this question about me. I transitioned from a lot of volunteering within social circus into trying to make a professional career out of it. And I think there's a lot of challenges also financially to fund social circus projects. So I would love to know who's doing what and how did they manage to make certain projects rise and, you know, work out.
Yeah, beautiful.
I'm looking to find out if there are ways to make social circus more mainstream, to maybe connect it with the education and the regular curriculum, to maybe find out if there is a way to bring social circus more to the normal people, if I would say, the not circus related, because there are a lot of benefits in social circus that I think a lot of the regular education and normal children can benefit from.
Yeah. So the benefits of social circus, how can they work in regular circus? No, in regular school education, right? In regular education, yes.
And maybe we should a bit define what is social circus. Like, where are we talking about? For me, that's important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Maybe we have enough subjects, right? Yeah. Thanks so much for sharing. Let's find a space to sit and see how far we get with all the questions.
Okay. I want to combine maybe a bit together with Marjolein the question, but what is social circus? And also in how far is it the same or is it different than the regular workshops that we try to make as inclusive as possible? After 25 years of working with all kinds of social circus initiatives and trainings, I am still quite frustrated with the fact that after 25 years we haven't found a better name than social circus. I like the term circus for everyone. I like also the idea of community circus. Those are two different terms that also point a bit in the direction. I think, and Marjolein, you can complement later on. For me, in a way, all circus can strive to be as inclusive as possible, but that doesn't mean that it's always possible. If we say our circus workshops with a certain methodology, a certain approach, a certain kind of techniques and disciplines, when we say we are open to anyone, but we don't think very deep what are the different challenges that people have, then we could have a recipe for another big disappointment, another extra exclusion. So this is, for me, this awareness is very important. I think way too much people from all kinds of circus initiatives are saying, yes, but we are social, anybody is welcome. But a lot of times they forget that also they are perceiving reality from a certain perspective. And a lot of times it is still a perspective of maybe, let's say, a neurotypical white middle class perspective that thinks that they are welcoming everyone, but it's absolutely not always the case. And I also believe that for certain people, it is a big, the step is too big to immediately try to be included in a regular circus school. Sometimes it can be very interesting, that's my opinion, that people with certain intellectual or motoric or other challenges find a really safe space with like-minded people that understand them. And hopefully also like-minded teachers that come ideally also from the same target group that know about these sensitivities. But to say we are welcome for everyone can be very dangerous without a lot of awareness, I'd say.
Yeah, I was also thinking about the definition. The most used, and the one I use also, is that it's circus as a means, not as a goal. So that is maybe a good way to describe social circus.
Can we make this beautiful circus pedagogy that we all feel, that we all experience, can we make it more mainstream? For instance, being included within schools and whatever. I do see that there are in Europe some countries, for instance in Germany, I have the feeling that there are at least way more workshops, circus workshops and circus introductions in schools, but I think we are possibly at the very beginning of let's say a kind of march of the social circus through different institutions, educational institutions. When we look, for instance, at scientific work, we have to know that circus pedagogy is a very young discipline. It's a very, very young discipline. Not circus an sich, but the circus pedagogy in most regions, in most countries, is just 10, 20, maybe 30 years old. And now we are getting more and more, I think, scientific, psychological, and other research that is showing how much benefit it has. And for me, just one of the possibilities to make it more mainstream is the research from Canada. You remember his name?
Yeah, Dean Killaerts.
Dean Killaerts, it's a University of Manitoba, I think, that have really worked very extensively on the research that says, what if we would replace the sports and the competitive games from the physical education classes in school? What if we would change it with circus education? And what they have found is that circus has is way more inclusive than sports. So it stimulates so much more people to move, to use their body in a way that sports also does, but for a very smaller portion of the population, let's say. Next to that, there is way more research also on intellectual capacities. What happens if you learn to juggle, for instance? What does it do with the brain? But I think we need to be patient, and we need to invite as many researchers as possible to also convince the broader society that circus has within it so much unexplored potential, I would say.
And I was thinking about the question. I would like to know more about who is doing what on the field of social circus. There's actually a lot, and we also shared some websites. Did you have a QR code for that?
So we have a bit of a technical problem with the screen, but later on we will show the links.
Yeah. So we have some links where to go to. Well, here in Europe, we already talked about Caravan. This is, I think, hey. I think that's, you can find all their researches online, and it's all for free to use. We have in Europe the ICO, European Youth Circus Organization. Also there is a lot of information on projects that were done in the past, but also a lot of contacts. For instance, there was a training called Thoughts on Inclusion, and it was a gathering of circus teachers. They were all exchanging about inclusion, and there's a real big, how do you call this, handout on this. It's like a teacher training handbook, and you can download it for free from the website of ICO. And if people like to be in contact with each other about who is doing what on social circus and learn from each other, places like this are perfect. So I think this is the place where you can find other people who are doing the same kind of things. And I think it's very important to continue exchanging on this subject, because, yeah, I learned so much from being with you. So I think this exchange that is very, very important to do. Yeah.
Just a few days ago, I went to the website of Cirque du Soleil, and Cirque du Soleil had a big organization that is almost vanished now, called Cirque du Monde, but they still have. Cirque du Monde was really the biggest research center on social circus. They gave a lot of trainings, and they're still doing some stuff. And if you go to Cirque du Soleil and you type in Cirque du Monde, you will find a whole world map with hundreds of social circus initiatives. I think it's just a lot of those social circus initiatives, they need volunteers, and there's a lot of shout-outs also to help work in Mozambique or in Cambodia or in Palestine or many different places. For the dinosaurs that still use Facebook, like me, you can also become a member of the Social Circus International community, and there's a lot of shout-outs also there, and a lot of reports on working with refugees, working with all kinds of target groups all over the world, and a lot of times there is really shout-outs for volunteers.
Yeah, there was also a question. I think it was you who said, I've done a lot of voluntary work in this field, but how about getting a regular job, and how about get funding for social circus? I think it's very important to see this work as a regular job, or as a very important job. And I feel, especially with youngsters from the youth circus and their parents, very often they don't see it as a job opportunity. So it's great to do circus, it's a very nice hobby, but then when we go study something else. And I would like to change this mentality, because I think there's a really big need for circus teachers. In the Netherlands, I know for sure, but also in other European countries, there's a big lack of circus teachers, and there's an even bigger lack of social circus teachers. So yes, I think it's very important to make awareness about this job, this field. And I think we also talked once more about how to make governments aware of the importance of this work. And I remember you had some very nice tips about that.
I think every region, every city, every country has different ways of hopefully finding some money. For a lot of social circus initiatives, it takes a long, long time. Some get some sponsoring, so you don't need a government. But a lot of times, in my experience, at least in Belgium, and I see it in some other countries too, it takes a long time, but I think it's really worth it to talk with social circus projects and professionals that have managed to get some money from government. It can be a local government, it can be a regional or a provincial or country government, or even European subsidies. But my main thing there would be like to, yes, definitely have a network work and try to manage a kind of vocabulary. What do I mean with the vocabulary? If you go to a politician or a civil servant and you say, oh, we would like to have some money to juggle and to play circus with certain target groups, they're going to congratulate you, but they're not going to give you any money. So to make kids happy or people happy, to teach them tricks will not get you money. What can get you money is to really do this exercise of what is actually happening in the circus space, what is happening there, and in how far can we validate what is happening. For instance, and this is for me just part of the vocabulary, is that when we are saying we have a huge problem with European kids that don't move enough. There is really, we see from 12 years old, most kids stop moving. They don't go to sports clubs, and it has so much disadvantages for it costs billions of euros to the government because people get sick. So if we can find ways, methods of letting people be activated motorically, that's the motoric impact. Some ministers, some people can be convinced to say like, hey, this program will definitely motivate a lot of people in a way that sports clubs don't. We have a methodology with a lot of disciplines, a lot of techniques, a lot of material that can actually motivate more people to move, to use their body than a traditional sports club does. So that the motoric impact is one of them. What we also have is actually, and we almost never talk about it, is the cognitive impact. What does it do with our brain? We have in regular circus, for instance, and in social circus, we work, for instance, with so many hyperactive kids. And what circus a lot of time does is we get them into focus. We get them really into learning to learn. We get them into overcoming all kinds of obstacles. So there's a lot of interesting things to think, like what does it do with our mind and how we perceive, how we think. Then there's the whole emotional impact in social circus, which is actually huge. People are being confronted with their fears. We are inviting them to go out of their comfort zone. We are inviting them to work with failure, to regulate their emotions. So again, if you do the research for yourself, what does circus mean for me emotionally? It can be a really interesting exercise to see what happens in the circus space with our pupils. And then, of course, there's the whole social thing. I think just like we invited you here in the hand pair share, and there's a lot of contacts, circus is a almost perfect methodology to let people work with each other, let people trust each other, communicate properly with each other, work together on a show. All these things, there's a lot of it that other methodologies within leisure time or within education just don't have. So these four can already be some elements to try to think how can we persuade funders to fund us, not by trying to find stuff that is out of our circus field, but just by validating what is already happening. Yeah.
Okay, so we would like to ask you, if you talk about social circus, what kind of target groups could you name? So, anybody has a target group in mind for social circus?
My field, I teach older adults over the 55 till, I don't know, 90 something.
Senior adults, yeah, great. Other target groups?
Neurodivergent people.
Neurodiversion, yes.
I was, and within the neurodivergence, what kind of groups can we still see?
Really depends. Like, you can do classes for people with really high support needs, like autism, for example. Like high support need autism. Circus can be really helpful with like regulating sensory input and all that, those kind of things. But also just like people with ADHD need to move. I don't know, kind of like everyone really, but yeah.
I'm curious if the social circus can also influence the economy. So my impact group would be the corporate world.
Corporate world, yeah,
yes.
Great.
We a few times a year we teach kids that are refugees.
Refugees,
and
yeah.
we also have I don't know what it's called, een Blijf van mijn lijf huis. It's children who have suffered abuse by abusive parents, and they stay at a place. But that's always short periods of time, and I would really like to include those kids in the regular lessons. And how do we do that?
Yeah, how to include from refugee camps, but also from Blijf van mijn lijf. I don't know the. Yeah, it's not necessary. It's,
women's shelter. Yeah.
Women's shelter, exactly. Yeah, that was the word we're looking for. Other target groups of social circus.
I work at I volunteer at a youth circus center where there are a lot of children with disabilities and also without disabilities, so they train together.
Children with and without disabilities training together.
Are you talking about physical disabilities?
Both.
Physical and mental disabilities.
Well, I would like to turn the question around. Who not?
Who not?
I mean, it's whenever somebody is open to the topic and we can open their mind, they will benefit.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody else can talk after me since...
I see two more hands. And then we have to make groups because we only have 5 sheets.
Wij waren toen langs geweest bij het asielzoekerscentrum. Dat vond ik een hele mooie plek met een hele mooie ontmoeting met die mensen.
Yeah, so I will translate this. She said she was a student in the social circus course, and she said that she came to the refugee camp with us to teach the children there, and yes, sees this as an important target group for social circus.
And I do have a question. I agree with the one who was saying it there, but sometimes we have kids with severe disabilities, either mental or physical, and I find it difficult to keep them in the group. How do we do that, or is that too much to ask of these kids?
Yeah, how do we keep
it
impaired
inclusive?
children?
Yeah.
How to keep it inclusive? How to keep them in the group?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. We continue. Okay.
There was one more over here.
One more. Yeah.
Well, we have 3 projects. We bring older people in woonzorgcentra. We bring them together with children from elderly home. Yeah, we bring them together with children, and we do there a project of circus. And then we also work with kids in revalidation. After traffic accidents or something, brain things. And now we are going to start a project with youth with angststoornissen, fear, anxiety.
Anxiety, yeah.
Yes.
I'm the street children or the children from slums. It's a lot about Europe's situation, but I think it's worldwide. So more street, no physical, what do you say? No disabilities, but just from poor backgrounds.
Yeah, street kids. Yeah. Let's see, because we have an exercise for you, and we have to try to make kind of groups. We have 5 groups. So I'm going to hand out these sheets. You're going to make groups and talk about the subjects that we have here. And we're going to ask you to write down on this paper and talk about the possibilities. What do these people need to be able to come to your circus class? Which kind of needs do we need to fulfill so that they can be included in your circus group, circus work? It's the give you the possibility to talk about it in a smaller group, and then we will put all the outcomes together and we make a conclusion around it. I would like you to come back to the circle like we had before. So please, can you join us? Okay, so we have here this wonderful person. She lives in a women's shelter. Physical disabilities, autism. She's a refugee and also has mental disabilities. Yeah. So you all have been thinking really strongly about all these needs, and I think all these needs are very important. There's a lot to say about it. If this was a teacher class, I would ask everybody to explain a little bit about what you've been doing, but we are already a little bit over time. But we will stay here, and there's a lot of time to talk about it afterwards, if you like. I give the word to you.
There's a main message after behind this exercise.
There's a main message behind this exercise, exactly. And that's actually the thing that you said when we started this exercise. Doesn't it go for everybody? Isn't it not important for everybody to feel safe touching, for instance? Or what else do we have? Yeah, good structure in the lesson is good for everybody. And rituals, exactly. I heard fun. She said fun, especially when you work with refugees. But don't we all want to have fun when we do circus? So the message is all these extra thoughts that you need to do to make it more special to work with your target group. Think about it. Does it go for me as well? Do I need this as well? And very often it's like that, yes. Yeah.
Well, yes, on the one hand, but. No, it's a but, really. If we want to achieve all this at all times to everybody, we will overwhelm ourselves a lot. So I really would like that we have a close look who is in front of us. Maybe there's somebody who is not needs to have fun all the time. So, but others are. So please focus on the people and what their need really is, and don't try to do everything at the same time. Otherwise, other people might be annoyed that you are over politically correct. Some don't need it, and just talk straightforward to them.
Yeah, I guess you're absolutely right. It's an and story and not an if story. I do think it is very important not only to try to figure out certain features and certain general needs of a target group without forgetting the individual needs behind it. And I guess if you work with special target groups, for instance with refugees, for instance with people with certain disabilities or neurodivergence, that it is always important to include people with a lot of experience. That might be professionals working with them, but also definitely try to create a space where every individual is heard, and hopefully further in the future, where most of these people in our target groups are also represented by the teacher corps. I think there's so many possibilities to train also all kinds of people with disabilities, with all kinds of neurodivergent characteristics. Now it's still difficult to become a teacher, but there's really interesting projects going on in Europe to also make the teacher corps more representative. Of course, it needs to be safe for the group and for the teacher also.
Yes, one very important saying in this is nothing about us without us. So we can talk about people, but I think that the idea, the project you're working on was with children with Down syndrome, and then the persons with Down syndrome who became experienced in teaching become teachers. And it's very important to get lessons from the people who are your target group, because they can teach you so much more. And what I find the best benefit of being a teacher is that I learn so much more. So I hope that this inspires you also to become teachers, because this is one of the main things why I am a teacher.
I hope. I agree. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you very much.